This program is proudly brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana. Welcome to First Issues. Every so often we come across entrepreneurs whose resolve to bring their dreams to life is nothing short of inspiring and encouraging. Such people, we believe, deserve to be the center focus in this new season of First Issues, where we endeavor to disrupt the status quo in the entrepreneurial landscape of the country for these risk takers to grow the economy and create employment opportunities, especially for young people. But it seems gone are the days when young people waited with bated breath to be given the opportunity to work. With unemployment rates escalating, some people have taken the deliberate decision to create job opportunities for themselves and others. For example, we have Taboka Chengeta, the founder of Good Vision, which is a content creation consultancy company based in Gaborone. Taboka is a University of Botswana graduate in Bachelor of Marketing who graduated in 2022. In the same year, he started Good Vision. Taboka was riding on his degree, his music career, and the popularity of podcasts, which were then becoming commonplace in the country. After jumping on the wagon as a videographer, he now has 5 podcasts under his belt that he does production for. Amongst them, the Juice 2.0, the Growth Well podcast, to mention but a few. Under Good Vision, he currently employs 3 other graduates. At just 27 years old, how did he manage, as production costs can be hefty, and does he have bigger ambitions beyond podcast production? Taboka is on First Issues.
Taboka, thank you so much for coming on First Issues and affording us your time. We're here today to talk about your business, Good Vision. Let us start first by understanding what it is that you do at Good Vision and how you came about bringing it to life.
Okay, thank you for having me. So Good Vision is a content agency. I'll explain what content is. It's a content agency that specializes in content marketing and content production for aspiring thought leaders and aspiring influencers. Content is essentially any medium or vessel which is a transfer of value. So video, for example, would be a medium, and then the entertainment or the information you're providing on that video would be the point of value that is being transferred from that medium. That is essentially content. So, I started off my journey as a musician, and let me just say overall as a creative person, and I had a multitude of skills. And how it started was there were certain people, aspiring influencers who were interested in growing their personal brands. Those are the people we generally deal with. People want to grow their personal brands, though it's not limited to just personal brands. And so from then on, using the skills that I had, I managed to combine them in a way in which they complemented my marketing journey. I also have a degree in marketing, which is the content marketing aspect. And then the production aspect is the creativity part. So we join strategy with creativity so that people who want to grow their personal brands can get the great look of, good quality production from a creative director, while also trying to maximize the potential that they would have if they were trying to be successful, as most people are trying to be successful. So that's what we do, and that's how Good Vision started up.
But how did you get it all together, like setting up a whole business in production, no less, considering that you started this company fresh out of varsity, right? So a lot of times people will talk about funding being a hindrance to them, creating such opportunities for themselves.
Yeah, so it was sort of an accident to get into this. Of course, I was a musician, so I was a generally creative person. I just acquired skills intentionally by learning photography, graphic design, sound engineering, and all of these skills coincidentally are all the skills you need to do something, for example, like a podcast. I wasn't intentionally trying to start a company. It's just that people knew who I was, particularly a gentleman named TK, who was my first client of the Juice 2.0, and he approached me and just suggested we should start a podcast. So it was like I got my first clients. Of course, when people talk about business and starting businesses, they always talk about funding. I'm more of the perspective that beyond funding, you need a market, you need clients. So for me, even starting it was really easy because before I even was intentional about it, I already had a market. I already had my first clients who was willing to pay. So even though at the time, admittedly, I didn't own all the equipment necessary and I didn't have a foundation, I used the money that I was getting from the client in order to raise funds. So that sort of mitigates the issue of funding when starting a business, because if you have a client, then you can always start a business because that client will be the funding in the first place.
So in closing, let us go back to Good Vision as a business. Are you guys looking to upscale? Basically, what are you envisioning for its future?
So let me just say, for me, my whole thing is bringing ideas to life. I think that is my selfish interest in all of this, which is I love meeting clients and I love bringing the ideas to life with my skill. I mean, every client who came to me just came with an idea and they've gone somewhere from that idea. We've actualized the idea. So that's sort of my goal. And I think that we're trying to get into right now is informing and educating people in regards to getting these skills and getting into courses for people so that they can learn these skills, maybe not in the most formal accreditation way, but in a way in which they can come to us, learn, and then use that skill in order to either grow their own business, grow personal brands, grow the personal brands of other people, in a way in which also ensures quality, so that, I mean, if you have graphic design experience, maybe you feel like you might not need it, but maybe it will enhance your ability to work with clients and provide value for them.
Bitsa motho gore motho a leke mangwala go duela metsi.
Mama, ka re male jana ha o tlhokana le go tsamela kgakala gore go duela metsi. FNB re diretse tiro motho.
Tsenthe.
Mma, kwa go marekisetsong a ile gore ana le tshwao la FNB Cash Plus. Se se tlhokanyela ke o mang wa gago mo tirisong le reference number e bong dinomoro tse di diriswang go ruragatsa dituelo tsa gago.
FNB what?
FNB Cash Plus.
Madonna makante ke monto sampolele ka mananeo a FNB ya Cash Plus.
La ha re le nna ke gone go utang ka dona ebile ke ne ke sa dumele.
Deposit cash and coins, withdraw from e-wallet, make cardless cash withdrawals, buy prepaid airtime and electricity, pay bills such as water, electricity and many more.
FNB. Dona. Nyawa ena ke ra sa thara. Mpare motiki. Na ke ra go motho hela mamarapedi. O tola skontere hela. O bua go se mosong wa go duela se mosong. Manane wa FNB Cash Plus.
Amogelesega mo lenaneong la First Issues. Go nna mogwebi potlana ga se ga mongwe le mongwe. Go tlhoka bopelotelele le boitshoko. Ke ka jalo mo First Issues re boneng go le maleba go nna le dipuisanyo le bone bagwebi ba ka kgwebo tsa bone, go kgothatsa ba bangwe ba ba nang le keletso ya go itshimololela dikgwebo mo dinakong tsa gompieno tsa ditlhoko la ditiro e le seemo se se amang banana segolo jang. Ke ka jalo go na le banana bangwe ba ba sa iponang tsapa la go ikemela ka dinao gore ba itirele letseno ka go ipereka ba dira tsele le tsele. Moeng wa rona ke Taboka o itsegeng gape ka leina la DJ Bunny. Ke monana o ithutileng se ka seng go tweng disc jockey kana DJ. A tshameka mmino mo medirong le mafelo a maitiso ka go farologana ga one. Ene ya re go bona fa madi ao a sa lekane go motshegetsa le balwapa la gagwe, a bona gore a simolle go apang a rekise dijo ka go farologana ga tsone. Re na le DJ Bunny mo First Issues gore bolella ka loeto la gagwe e le mogwebipotlana le gore o kgotlhilwe ke eng go tsena mo kgwebong e. A ba go ka go amogela lenaneo la rona la First Issues ke kopa gore o re bolelele ka kgwebo ya gago ka re kgwebo tsa gago.
Ke a leboga thata leina la me ke Taboka ke monana e leng gore ke rana kgwebo e leng gore ke rekisa dijo tsa Setswana ibile ke kgwebo e leng gore na le ha go tlhatswediwang dikoloi teng mo ka sekgare go bitsang re car wash gape ke raskanta ke DJ
Re bolele gore go simologile ha kae go thilwe ke eng gone gore o nne le dikgwebo
ya re ke ta simolla ka ya bo DJ pele bo DJ sa le ke nna raskanta ka ngwaga wa 2012 since 2012 ke simolla gone go nna le kgatlhegelo ya dikatara mme bile ga go simolla gone go simolotse tota ko kerekeng ke ne ke letsa instrument e bidiwang go te keyboard le di drum so career ya me bo DJ simolotse gone ko and then ka tswela yalo go itlhalla ke tsana ke gore go ke leng teng gonana mme e be gona le one ya dijo ke nne le kgatlhegelo ya dijo go apa dijo ka ngwaga wa 2020 ka nako ya lockdown ke ile ka simolla kgwebo ya gore ke sa tsone dijo tseo mo phase 2 ka nako ya lockdown ka gore ya ka ra kologela gona go sena letseno ko industry ya rona ya bo DJ so nako e ntsi o tlhene gore fosa gore re le malape ke re ai me gone ya ka go ntsalo nga senne ka matsogo a me rena ra ikopanya ra ithulantsha dithogo gore nya me is better re sa nnela ka matsogo a rona re bona gore re tsenya letseno re kgona go duela bone bo di rente jalo ya ka washe re le rana le mo re go bitsang re partnership le re batsile so e be re tare kopana be re nya me since go ha re ithetse gona le ha go tlhatswediwang dikoloi teng ga so re me re ikopanya re ntshe bonyenyane re bo re bontshang gore re kopanye ka washe le ha go apelwang dijo tsa Setswana teng
ke eng se se irang gore o tsoge moso o itita se bua gore ta wa go theogela ke tla ke re mo le mo ka bua ka gone gore re berekela gore re le letseno but ha re ka tsa letseno le be re le beela ka thoko ka hale what motivates you and keeps you going ntle le dikgwetho di petseng gore o ka diralala
daga tota Setswana se bua sa re phokotse go tshela dithetsenyana so tota hela so se leng gore se nkgwatha gore tsatsi le letsatsi ke nne ke tsoga ke gone gore apart from one ena khanya letseno ke yona khanya gore tota we have families to feed so they depend mo go rona re le bana ka lapeng gore kana mme ngwana rona o dile mo gae a re wa go ga borone wa go bereka so tota go mo leng gore ke gone mo leng gore it keeps me going ke gone gore khanya gore ke itse gore ke na le batsedi ba leng gore ke a ba tlhokomela ke a le bana ba leng gore they have to eat ba tsentse re ba tsene dikolo jalo
mo pheletsong o bata go kgothatsa banana ba bangwe ba leng gore gongwe ba ka iphithela bana le yone keletso eo ya go nna le dikgwebo tsa bone kana ba nna raskanta jaaka wena kana sepehela se leng gore bana le tshesego ya sone o ka ba kgothatsa gore
tota nga ba kgothatsa gore tota ha o le go bereka thata like hard work pays tota ibile mo nka gatelang ke gore o ska ithoboga if o batla go dira selo mo botshelong se dire o ska simolla le ba ko morago le beletse dikgotho tsa ileng gore se wa kanya gore o kopana le tsone but if ha batla go dira selo just go for it o nne la le gore do tsa teng ga di diragale o ska na le moao go ithoboga gore kgotsa kgwebo ga e tsamaye sentle but you should just soldier on because sky is the limit.
Ta bitsa motho gore motho a leke mangwala go duela metsi
mama ka re male jana ha o tlhokana le go tsamela kgakala gore go duela metsi FNB re diretse tiro motlho ma kwa go marekisetsong a ile gore ana le tshwao la FNB Cash Plus se se tlhokanyela ke o mang wa gago mo tirisong le reference number e bong dinomoro tse diriswang go ruragatsa dituelo tsa gago
FNB what
FNB Cash Plus
madona makante ke ngwe ntse o sampolele ka mananeo a FNB ya cash plus
hela ha re le nna ke gone ke utlwang ka dona ebile ke ne ke sa dumele
ka ke heditse.
Deposit cash and coins, withdraw from e-wallet, make cardless cash withdrawals, buy prepaid airtime and electricity, pay bills such as water, electricity and many more.
E re bolokile FNB.
dona nyawa ena ke ra sa thare mphare motiki na ke ra go motho hela mamarapedi o tola skontere hela o bua go semosong wa go duela semosong manane wa FNB cash plus.
Welcome to First Issues. Imagine you run a small construction company and your staff work with very heavy and dangerous machinery. Unfortunately, on one of the days on site, one of your employees gets hurt and can't work anymore. Now, because they have lost their income while on company time, the organization owes them compensation. Now, what if this tallies in the millions? This is a very real possibility that needs to be guarded against by intentionally seeking out solutions, which is where we come in by speaking to professionals who can help with mitigating measures for such. In this instance, the solution is workers' compensation, an insurance cover offered by First National Bank insurance brokers. We dig up the answers on this insurance product with Business Development Manager Rebaone Khuwe. Bona, welcome back to First Issues. Thank you so much for coming back. We are continuing our series on insurance, or our conversation on insurance, and this time around we're talking about workers' compensation. Unpack that cover.
So workers' compensation is a cover that covers occupational injuries that could also result in death. Yeah, so the cover covers all those occupational injuries. It covers, in the unfortunate incident, death, and it also extends to covering medical expenses. So the workers' compensation, how it normally works is that it has to be within the scope of your employment. I'll give an example. It is not attached to any premises. When you're traveling on business, so should anything happen and unfortunately you have a car accident and you either pass on or you suffer from any injuries, then the workers' compensation policy will pay towards that loss. So the cover also extends to paying your medical bills, but of course there are limitations to that because remember this is also regulated by the Botswana labor. So yeah, that's how it basically works.
Okay. This being an act of parliament, which means that it is a law in action, right? What penalties might entrepreneurs face for not having workers' compensation for their staff? I mean, surely there has to be some level of consequence to an entrepreneur not having that.
Yes, no, of course there are some penalties. So the penalties are you might be liable for a fine not exceeding 5,000 pula, or an imprisonment term not exceeding 3 years, or unfortunately you may be liable for both. Yeah, so those are some of the consequences that you may suffer for not having the workers' compensation policy.
Maybe this is putting you on the spot. I don't know if you'd be able to speak to it, but what necessitated to have this kind of cover, and especially to have it as an act of parliament?
I won't speak much on the act of parliament, but what I know is that Ghana as employers, you need to ensure that your employees are well taken care of, because I remember Ghana they are under your care. Yeah, so I think that is one of the reasons why it is really necessary to ensure that your employees are taken care of whilst they're under your care.
Lastly, what does this cover not include? I mean, we do know that you have to have been injured or unfortunately have died while on the clock. What would constitute not being covered?
So some of the exclusions to this particular policy would be self-inflicted injuries. Ke theogetse ebe ke ikgaola monana with the hope that I will benefit from the workers' compensation policy. That is a self-inflicted injury. Everything that happens has to be accidental. Yes, and then it also does not extend to illnesses, flu, and then unfortunately I pass on. Yes, it has to be accidental. That is when the policy will respond to the cover.
Thank you for watching. Join us again next time when we continue our series on insurance in an effort to help entrepreneurs guard against one of the challenges they face in their undertakings, financial loss. Until then, have yourselves a pleasant evening. Good night. This program was proudly brought to you by First National Bank of Botswana.